DJ Primetime, Los Infinite. Special guest in the place, Pharoahe Monch.
It's really good.
Oh man, chilling. Here in the 215, getting ready to talk about the new album, Desire.
Yeah, man.
Coming out on SRC Universal. Can you give us a street date for the album?
The official, finally, mother effing official date is May 1st. And it feels so good to have an official date. Everybody's mad at me for waiting so long. May 1st is the date, and it feels real good.
Yeah, it's been a while since Internal Affairs dropped, and Los and I was talking about, what are your plans to capture the new heads? Because we know a good portion of the heads that been with you since the OK days are definitely looking forward to this album. But how do you plan to recapture this new wave of hip hop listeners that have emerged since 99, 2000?
Right. First and foremost, man, like as an artist, I think in a true form of an artist, I don't even look at any past accolades. The new record is like new art, new challenges, me battling myself just to persevere and just step the game up and implement something in the hip hop that I think is missing. And looking at it in that perspective, it's just fresh. And everybody that hears the record, from the producers to the label, it just feels like a fresh record. I can't even compare it to past or talk about, bringing things forward. But I think that's unique about my career in particular, because people who know me from Oh No might not even know me from Simon Says, and they might not even know me from Stress the Extinction Agenda. And I think that's brilliant. People might look at that as a bad thing, but I think that's brilliant to move throughout time like that. And just to wrap up the whole interim, I don't even perceive time the way people perceive it. It's like the game is just so whack right now that not only myself, but anybody, any new artist, any old artist could just come with a joint and just break through right now, because there's so much room and so redundant right now. And I think, fans out there, the people who listening to this station right now can feel that, so I don't even pay attention to trends. If you love hip hop, I don't care if you love current hip hop, you should be able to feel what I'm doing on this record if you did your history, and that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, we were sort of, like Primetime was saying before you came up, we were sort of building on that exact thing about how a lot of the younger cats, who are probably listening right now, when Oh No and all that came out, they was in elementary school. They weren't even probably even listening to hip hop, and there's almost a whole nother new generation of artists. Of fans and artists who for right now you're a brand new artist. So there's probably a lot of kids right now that you're probably getting introduced to that are probably like, who's that? I don't even know who that cat is. But and to piggyback on what Primetime said, how much control do you have over what you're doing as far as your image? And are you trying to change your image? I was telling him earlier, I don't think Primetime, I don't think you realize how much of a sex symbol that you are with the ladies. That they're. I actually had a woman ask me, like, did the labels ever ask him to like beef up and hit the weight so you can come out with a video with like a shirt? Like a chick actually asked me to ask you that question, like what's up with with all that, with the look and all that. She was like, yeah, when he first came out, he was kind of chubby. He had the hair a while. Now all of a sudden he dropped, and like he dropped like 100 pounds. And is he hitting the weights? Is he gonna come back on his LL? How you like me now? How you feel about that?
Yeah, the label did pressure me into changing my Nah, I'm just joking.
Well, we had Last Emperor up here, and when he was on Raucous, he said that he was catching that from Raucous a bit, where they were like, well, you know, if you kind of cut up a little bit, we could put you out there with LL. Did you ever get that from the heads up Raucous? Did they be like, yo, Pharoahe, if you dress a certain way, try to do this, you can even catch even more people?
The people who ran Raucous were real fans. They were fans of Pharoahe. They were fans of Organized. And because of that, it was a beautiful situation in the first half of the situation. And I really appreciate and respect Raucous for that. You know what I'm saying? They brought something to the table that was very important. When you look back at the history of hip-hop, you're going to remember that era. An era of an independent situation that there's been many independent situations, and there are some now that just was dropping singles, and they had a great eye, and as far as I'm concerned, for talent. And but they always gave me the freedom, and that's the choice that me and Prince, and even me on my solo career, I paid particular attention to being able to make sure, like, when you step into these labels and you're playing music and you're watching reactions, you want feedback. You know what I'm saying? You don't want yes men. You don't want a yes label. You know, you want people to tell you, yo, man, that record's not gonna fly, or whatever. But at the same time, you want your ability to be experimental, which is what made, you know, Organized Confusion who what it was and who I am. So at the same time, you know, Raucous gave me like total freedom, you know, and I say that because I know I'm rambling right now, but you look at the first Organized record, which was Who Stole My Last Piece of Chicken. It wasn't a very lyrical record. It was a funky record, a soulful record, you know, almost a joking record at the time. But then on that same album, we had Releasing Hypnotical Gases and Prisoners of War and things that were very lyrical. So I've always ran the gamut of different styles. So the minute somebody tries to box me in, I start to feel uncomfortable. You know, I don't want to box myself in. But to go back to the question about the working out, you know what I'm saying? For those who follow my career, you would know that I'm a chronic asthmatic. And I remember one time in particular with Organized, where we had a show in DC, and I couldn't make it. I was in the hospital, and you know, it was like one of those little rock spots that was packed out. All the kids had beers, college students, and Prince got on stage, and he called me in the hospital room on his cell phone, and he asked the fans to shout me out. And I was actually in the hospital room, like, in tears. From that moment, I was like, yo, be like, you know, I just had that camaraderie with him. Like, I felt bad about missing a show. From that point, you know, I was like, I gotta get myself together. I mean, it took a minute, but it's more about controlling the asthma thing so I could do shows than it is about the aesthetics. But of course, the ladies that come along with losing the weight, it doesn't hurt at all.
Before we talk a little bit more about the new record, Desire, Simon Says, the way that took off. Now, I grew up in Queens.
Right.
So,
QB, okay.
You know, okay.
Stand up, Queen, stand up.
You know, I mean, I'm a faithful Funk Flex listener. Flex took that record and ran with it. A, did you expect him to? And B, do you think you could come back to him now with the new material, you know, when it gets close to release date, and, you know, like, is he going to give you, you know, or is he going to give you, do you think he's going to give you a shot, or, like, have you been in the game long enough where you think, like, people have short memories with these things?
I mean, all of those things is experimental. I mean, I'll just reiterate, I hate to be boxed in. In that era, you know, I felt like hip-hop was going in a certain way. And although I was who I was on an underground level, I would be in a tunnel every week with like Rockweiler, who produced Somehow Some Way on the Equinox record, and a whole bunch of people, and we would just go to the tunnel and we would just experience that whole thing. So as a challenge to me, I was like, as an artist, I don't even know what it would be like to even incorporate trying to make something that would bang in a club like that. So it was a challenge to me to do that type of record. I hate to do things that I'm comfortable with because it becomes redundant. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as an artist, it's hard to find inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, let me just shout out Georgia Ann Muldrow real quick because I'm listening to that album crazy right now. But as an artist, you just look for inspiration, and that's something that I had never done. So it was a challenge to me to try and make that record. When I found the loop, I felt I had a joint like that, and I just went along with it. But the secret to that story is I was in the studio with Busta Rhymes doing the Next-ish record, and I played him Simon Says. He jumped up on the control panel, broke buttons, and he just wilded out. He asked me for a copy of it. We hadn't even mixed it, and he took it to Flex unmixed. And that's the story of that record. Like, Flex called me the next morning and was like, yo, B, like, I hope you're ready because this is it right here. So, he blasted off on the record. So big up to Bus for delivering that record for me to Funkmaster Flex. As far as the new record, I don't really care. Like, I don't like. It's not about that. It's not about topping Simon Says. It's about being true. And I think the thing that's dope about hip hop is the fans can detect when you're not honest about what you do. If it's Simon Says, if it's chicken, if it's fudge pudge, they're gonna be like, I don't believe you. I don't care how hot the record is, and that affects your career. It could be a hot record on the radio, but if they don't believe you, then you'll have no one at your shows. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to put out music that's true, and especially today with the whole digital situation and the internet. It's like if Flex support the record, I thank him for supporting the last record. That's my man. If he don't, it is what it is. Like, I'm not even expecting that. Radio was supporting Desire so far, and I'm blessed to have that happen. Because a lot of my peers who do good, they don't even get radio play like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just blessed to be one of the artists to get radio play. That's an underground artist sometimes. And it's like, to me, it's about the shows, it's about the grind, it's about the core fans, and it's about a groundswell. If the core fans, and I liken it to a movie, go to see the film and they come out and they tell their peoples, yo, you gotta go see Desire, it's tight. If you see any movie this year, go see Desire, then we're good, and I'm successful.
I think I speak for Lowe's too. I think we both believe that you have that type of fan base, that core fan base, because we were talking before you came up, that's what's helped, I think, keep you going this whole time. Even though when you first came in, you said, like, you have people that picked up on you at different points, which I think speaks to your creativity as an artist and being able, not only just to stay current, but to, as well as continue to have those creative juices flowing and experiment and be able to pick up new people along the way. But I don't think that many, the core fans really, I think they were able to follow you from,
right.
the self-titled, LP to 2007, where we are now. And I think
that's important, man. It's when I look back at my career, it's one of the things I'm proud of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very proud of the fact that, you got people who really feel this Push record or the Desire record, as well as the Oh No record with Mos Def, as well as the My Life record with Styles P, as well as The Truth with Talib and Common. And it's just different facets. And I think when you listen to the new record, it sounds so new and fresh and hungry. It's not about I've been in the game and you should respect. It's just about, this is the song. Here it is for you to like or not, on the merit of whether you should like the song or not. It's not about how long I've been in the game or none of that.
Yeah, I rarely ever, if at all, hear you reference your longevity. There's a lot of artists, I think, that like to be out. We'll try to remind the listeners, like, I've been here, I've been this, and just from that statement, you know, you can see it's like you don't have to beat the cat in the head, because if they listen to the music, they'll know it's seasoned, you know, hip hop coming from, you know, that point of view, somebody who has been doing this for a while, and it doesn't sound like this is your first attempt, you know, at putting something on record. Los, you got another question?
I got a million questions. As far as this new album, what direction? Like the Guns Drawn video, like blew a whole lot of stuff up, because you know there was always the argument over, you know, the Straight Bullet song versus I Gave You Power, and then you know what was doper, the, you know, and then this Guns Drawn video when that came out and all the, you know, everything that goes along with it. Everybody I know was like, wow, you know, this is like almost like you said, you kept it creative again, because you just went a whole, you even took a concept that you had sort of done already, but you went a whole different direction with it, and the video just took you a whole different place with it, and everybody's like, wow, you know, what is he going with next? So where is this, where were you going with this project that's coming up with Desire? What direction are you going? And we'll go off of that.
I mean, that's just the whole thing, just to keep people guessing and keep throwing curveballs with the gun draws. You know, Mr. Porter, Denon Porter, con artist, he co-executive produced the album from PIMP fame, from 50 Cent to the D12 stuff. He has a variety of styles of production, and you know, he came up on the Dre, he came up with JD. I did a lot of recording in Detroit, and that's the type of funk and soul I was feeling at the time. So just big up to him for that beat. But as soon as I got the beat, I started going in that direction, and I wondered, like, man, this is a subject I touched on already. But if you are truly not about not being boxed in, then you should have no qualms about like doing a part 2 to this song. Lyrically and flow-wise, I still would have to give the nod to part 1. But conceptually, when I was writing the song, I had a visual for this song that I wanted to do that I thought would be groundbreaking, and I knew it wouldn't be able to be placed on BET or MTV, and we was just like, you know, screw that. Let's just do it for what it is and get the message out there and its rawness. And you know, that's what it's about. It's about trying to break ground and push the envelope. And I think I was able to do that. Maybe not even with the song so much as the video clip. For anybody who haven't seen the video clip, you can see it at www.gunsdraws.com or allhiphop.com or whatever, or MySpace or whatever, YouTube or whatever. But that video is my baby. I wrote it. For those who don't know, an artist that I'm very, very, very cool with, Mr. Complex, directed the video.
All right.
Yeah.
COMPLEX.
So, you know, that's the story behind that. So you could look for more of that on the Desire album. I also did a remake of Welcome to the Terror Dome. I did the first verse. I sent it to Chuck D. I wouldn't have done it without his nod, and he heard it. And I just think politically, the album is very political. I just think politically it's time to hear that song again. We did new music. You know, it's just a very, very ill song. Everybody's feeling the song, and think about shooting a video for that song.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to hearing the album, you know, when it when it comes out and it gets closer to the release date, because I think a lot of us have been waiting not only for you to drop an album, but also, you know, with what you came with before, you know, with the singles with Let's Go and Push and Desire, which, you know, we've been banging. You know, people are like, all right, when are we going to hear this album already? And I definitely think there are a lot of people that are just waiting for it, because there's just a lack of, like, dope hip-hop releases. Like, a lot of stuff is just filler, like, all right, this will hold me over for a month because I want something new to, you know, snack on. But I think the direction that you're coming with this record, like, cats will be able to hold on to this for, you know, quite a few years and be able to sit with this album and be like, yo, this still sounds good, you know, 2009 and 2010, and still be going back to it, as opposed to, like, this held me over for, you know, a month before, until, you know, the next album came out. We're gonna wrap this up about 5 minutes. My man, my boy Dave from Queens, he wanted me to ask you about Strictly Too Positive beforehand. were you doing your work with Paul C at that time while you were Strictly Too Positive? That was when, or was that when Organized came into the picture?
Yeah, we entered the game Simply Too Positive. We were signed to an independent label. We put out this record called Memories of Love that was like a straight whack-ass love ballad, LL Cool J imitation whack record. You know, with the it was just some whack-ass. And we was like, yo, man, this is not what we do. We went to the infamous studio in Queens, 1212, where, you know, Large Professor, Paul C, everybody was recording out of. And we were in there and we was like laying down some beats that, you know, me and Prince had did and putting it down how we did. And Paul C walked into the session and he stopped and we looked and then he walked out of the session. And the next day we got a phone call from him and we was like, yo, he wanted to work with us. You know, for those who don't know, Paul C is like co-producer on a lot of Ultramagnetic, a lot of Large Professor. You know, you can ask Large Professor to this day, you know, about learning how to use the SB1200, you know, Rakim records and Fuji rap records and so on and so forth. So we went with Paul C. Paul C like co-produced and was bringing us along as Simply Too Positive. We got like 5 records done. That's all we need to get done. We had a deal from Def Jam and Atlantic and so on and so forth. But it's an untold story. In the deal from Def Jam, we met with Russell Simmons and he was like, yo, Simply Too Positive is the wackest name that I've ever heard in hip hop. The positive shit is over. Y'all need to change that name today. And we went back in the lab, and with the help from some people, we came up with Organized Confusion.
And that's the story behind it, folks.
There you know,
people wanted to know about that. For the lead single, which we're gonna get into in a few minutes. Desire, produced by Alchemist. How'd you hook up with Alchemist for this track? And when you were going into making this album, was ALC? Well, I guess it's a 2-part question. Was ALC one of the cats were like, I want Alchemist? And you just mentioned Large Professor being y'all are both South Side. Did you think about hitting him up for this album too?
All the time, and I think that's what's beautiful about hip hop. It's just so untouched and it's so much to explore. Ever since the Stress remix, I haven't worked with Large Professor, so you never know what's going to happen. I think that's the beautiful thing about it. I think people get wrapped up and redundant and so trapped into who's hot and what's going on. And I love to work with Large Professor. I never did a song with Premier. I love to work with Premier. So it's just so much that's I'm excited about in terms of the future. It's just so much more music to work on. People put a time frame on it, and I don't really put a time frame on it. But as far as Alchemist, Alchemist did the record on Internal Affairs with MOP, and just after that record right there, I got to sit with him in the studio, and I seen he's a real good dude. I just like Alchemist in general as a person. His track record as a producer. So, any project that I work on or any album that I start on, I always check for Alchemist.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're gonna get into the Desire joint. Have cats catch that, because again, that's the self-titled joint from the album Desire, which you said is coming out May 1st. May 1st. SRC Universal. Definitely pick that up. You want to shout out any websites, MySpace situations?
Definitely. On a reg, you can check me on MySpace, and that's www.myspace.com/PharoaheMonch.com, and then the website is Pharaoh-Monch.com. But more importantly, Gun Drawers, www.gundrawers.com. It has the short film on it for the video, and you could connect to the non-profit organizations, which is Guns for Cameras, which is really what the song is about, because we all, speak that gun, whatever, and this is just about not even people that's on the block doing their thing, they're forgotten about already. You living that life, it's all good. This is about the 8, 9, 10-year-olds who haven't made those decisions yet. This organization, provides you with a situation where you can aim and shoot from behind the camera instead of aiming to take a life away or whatever. And we need more art in the community, and we just need more art in the world in general. So that's what that whole thing is about.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna send everybody to the Gun Drawers website. Again, hook up with the nonprofits that are up there, because we definitely need to be taking these guns, off the streets and getting the kids really to, respect life more, and just people in general. Los, anything from Monch before we break?
Just don't make us wait another 7 years for a project.
Yo, everybody, just thank you for being patient, man. I apologize for taking so long, but for me, integrity, sometimes you gotta wait with the whole label situation, and I'm hoping you're gonna enjoy this record, because I put my time into it, and that's what it's all about. So I thank everybody for waiting for so long, but May 1st, the album is
out. And you touring. You haven't been in Philly. The last time I saw you here was at the TLA like a year ago. Yeah.
MOP. Then I did Breed Love Odyssey with Mos and Talib and Jean Grey. Me and Talib was trying to put something together for the spring and the summer. I'm gonna try to come through on my own tour, promotional tour, whatever spot I can get in Philly, just to bring people the album and then step on stage and the most prominent soul hip hop spot. Just bring it to the people and show them why I'm putting this album out.
That's what's up.
Big ups, Pharoahe Monch again, May 1st. Desire, we're going to get into the lead single produced by The Alchemist. It's a formula every Sunday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, radiovolta.org. Don't forget, check the MySpace, myspace.com/The Formula Radio Show 40 archives. We'll be back in 3 and some change. Peace.